And in the bottom right, I'll have to fix the music after this, again, from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, with no dramatic swell. It is Hero. And now I will dramatically, once again, somehow... Why is my music not fixing? This is actually very strange. I've never seen the StarCraft 2 client do this. Alright, never mind. We're doing it the hard way. Let's go. Alright, woo! We are scuffed, ladies and gentlemen, in the top left-hand corner from Shopify Rebellion. It is Byun. Alright, there we go, and we already have a proxy coming out from Hero. Wonderful. Everything is going fine. My in-game client is working beautifully. We're all happy here. We're all happy here. It's going wonderfully. Now, one thing that I will say about Hero in his TVP is that Hero is remarkably cheesy for, pretty much, like, I think even, like, you know, even if you're looking at the quality Protoss that we have currently in, these games, Hero is probably the cheesiest. I'm just going to say, I think Hero is the cheesiest. He is 100% willing to go proxy Stargate. He is 100% willing to go proxy gateways, 5-gate, blink stalkers, even though the last time I've seen him go blink stalkers, every single time, he has blinked his stalkers in and they have died. But that's aside from the point. Hero gets aggressive. And that's what we love to see, is that Hero gets aggressive. And so we're going to see how that ends up going now, as we are on into the game. Probe Scout. We'll end up falling. We'll end up dying. Nothing the difference there. Again, sorry about the frame drops and all that, as I tried to get everything sorted. But it is going to be a stalker. This was a bit of a max backs coming out from Hero. Again, I don't know why the music didn't work. I'm gonna have to sort that out. That is not a client I have had wrong. And I do realize I said, I don't know why I said hardware at the start of the game. My mind's all over the place. I'm tired. It's Berlingrad. Stalker's gonna come across the map. Should be able to at least delay the CC. Whenever you go for this proxy gateway, that's the least you're hoping for, is a delay. That's probably about the least you'll get. You're never gonna really be looking for any more than that. Excuse me. Interestingly enough, the opening from Byun is actually 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. That is quite strange. As Stalker will come on in, you're going to look for the kill here onto the... Try and find it onto the SCV. Also, a Hellion is fine, but the Stalker's taking so much damage. Hero commits in with the Adept as well. Okay. That is quite the decision here. Hero going to try and look for as much value as he can out of the Adept. Manages to get one more Reaper. And a second Adept even coming across the map. Hero, he's just going for it. Why not? That Adept will manage to find its way on out. And we're getting a little bit crazy. Hero's being very, very aggressive. Of course, has the double gateway production right off the bat, so you need to try and apply this pressure. And again, Byun did go for this kind of off TVT opening. So in TVT, of course, you do go 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. That's your standard Terran opening. And it actually is very, very hard to hold if you are up against 2 gateways and Adepts, because Adepts will do additional damage versus the Reapers. They do remarkably well against Hellions, and you now have 4 Adepts just kind of hanging out here. With the Cyclone, will be a bit harder for Hero to kind of push this, but you can micro it. The Cyclone lock-on can be broken. It's not that hard for the Protoss here to micro this fight. Now Hero isn't going to pull back the first Adept. That is going to fall, but manages to type 2 units, and now it's an Oracle on into the main base along with the Adepts, who actually shaded through, not away. Oracle will have to pull back. The Adept's going to just be able to find so much damage here, actually. The Focus Fire is right. Can get a few more SCVs, only finds 1. But now you still have pressure onto the natural base. Hero just absolutely relentless. Has Phoenix production now started up as well. Natural base is on location, but 2 Cyclones are out, and I think this is where this is going to start to get a bit more scary for Hero. Sure, you set the Cyclones and the Marines, but Raven out, auto turret dropped. The Oracle goes down, 2 more Stalkers. Aggressing. Hero being an absolute madman. And I do apologize if the sound is a little bit unbalanced. I'm having to play the music through my browser, so I will balance it between games. But SCVs are going to continue to go down. They need to be pulled from the repair. Tank is out. the stalker count is continuing to grow, and behind this hero, he's just macroing up. Look at that. 2 probes at a time. Phoenixes in production, and that is it. Byun with the scan knows now that this is not an all-in, so there's not like a third gateway going down at home. You're not looking at, you know, something like this turning into a Blink Stalker all-in. But still, I mean, hero getting a remarkable amount of damage with these early units. Definitely a situation where Byun, I don't think was expecting just the amount that did end up coming out, where he was pushing out aggressively to try and clear it with the units he had, which you absolutely can do when you go with the factory first opening that he did. Ooh, that's a bit messy. Again, you know, sometimes hero does just walk his units forward. It happens. And, well, let's bring more Phoenix over. Stalkers, I mean, it's an army that can fight this technically for hero, but Byun, again, when you go for as kind of greedy as an opening units-wise as Byun did, there's a very fine line for when you can keep attacking, when you can keep pressing, and I think hero just overstayed that a little bit, lost too many stalkers, lost additional zealots, and now that means that Byun is going to try and push this across the map because, well, again, he went, you know, for factory before CC, he went for the starport. He absolutely, you know, would have enough to defend eventually, no matter what. And it was just a matter of if Byun did, or if hero did overstay, and that kind of happened. Now, I don't think Byun can push this, is the thing. You have plenty of units out for hero. You know, 7 stalkers is a good, healthy amount. You do have the 2 tanks, or 2 phoenixes for liftoff on the tanks. And hero's getting into charge. So, you know, hero can absolutely defend this. I don't think Byun can push it. Sorry, it's still morning, but it does just mean that Byun back at home, hey, he's allowed to get up his natural base finally. He's allowed to get into his stim, into his +1. Ooh, that's going to be pick off on a tank. Byun not paying attention. And a high value target actually there for hero. And I don't like hero pushing out here. I don't mind hero being across the map. I don't mind that. But what I do mind is hero trying to attack here. You have a third base coming up. You should never really feel the need to try and attack into a 2-base Terran as the Protoss in this situation. But again, I don't mind hero just kind of having his units out looking for information. Hero doesn't have his Oracle. If the Oracle is still alive, of course, you would use that just for revelations, keep your army kind of lingering elsewhere, trying to pounce on the Terran army as it moves out. But as it is now, he can just use his Phoenix and is going to be trying to just use the main bulk of his army to keep tabs on what is happening for Byun. Again, I don't like this. There's 3 tanks there. This is not where you want to push in if you are hero. You're up in economy. I think hero absolutely just needs to play with that, needs to realize, hey, listen, I'm in a decent spot right now. And pushing into this would be a bit of suicide, so it's just going to pull back. And I wouldn't mind a few sentries even being warped in. When you talk about like vision in Terran versus Protoss, of course, it is very reliant for the Terran on your scans and on just sending out, you know, 1 or 2 drops to harass while you're pushing at the front. But for the Protoss, it's a lot more complicated. If your Oracle dies, the Oracle is that main source of vision with the revelations, with the constant tags on the army. And outside of that, you're then really looking at maybe a sentry. The hallucinations give you a lot of value, the Guardian Shields as well. But hero did not get into any of that. Hero right now, Charge Vaults, does not have, I believe, Blink yet. So it is just Stalkers walking on the ground, which are not the best at fighting with Stin Bio and tanks. Especially with concussive shells done. But the Phoenix in the air are just so dangerous. The liftoffs on the tanks can be so effective. And I like that hero is just keeping tabs on the army. With the Phoenix, he's saying, listen, I'm going to make sure I know where you are. I'm going to make sure I know what you're doing at all times. So that there's no danger of me overextending, that there's no danger of me getting caught off guard. Move the Phoenix until you get vision on the army, move him back. And that's kind of the dance that hero is pulling right now. Now Archons are being morphed in, sentries have been warped in as well for those Guardian Shields. And ooh, great. Oh my god, those force fields. Oh, hero. The perfect little triangle of doom there Gets so much bio caught out, just shreds through it. Doesn't even need AoE, really. Aside from those Archons, and now Hero can absolutely look to push. I mean, you're even on army supply right now. Hero has just finished up his +1 armor versus the +1 attack upgrades of Byun. Of course, the danger is those tanks still alive. It's going to be hard to really dive on top of them with the missile turrets, with the army. Oh, and so Hero going to try and look for that backstab into the mineral lines. Also, just looks like, I mean, missile turrets placed well. Byun, I mean, great defensive setup. Took a lot of damage early game. And I will say, I took a lot of damage early game, lost a lot of workers. Currently 12 SCVs lost in total, which isn't a massive amount, but it's still definitely more than you'd like, as those Vikings will go down, which is annoying. Those were the main way that Byun was zoning out the Phoenix. But despite all the damage that Byun took, very good decision making, and managed to kind of macro himself back into this game. We'll be able to catch out a few Zealots here. Concussive Shell Marauders, good unit, but now we're going to see the Phoenix just kind of ferry this charge lot drop on into the main, pick up the ghosts, and, well, this Warpin is kind of deadly. A lot of SCVs are going to go down at the very least. There's not a lot home for Byun. The Hero making some very, very nice moves right now. Picks on up, only got 3 SCVs. There's a good worker pull, but still manages to also lower the ghost count. Managed to kill all the ghosts that were in production, which is absolutely massive. And now, I still don't think you can push that front as Hero. That's a bit much, I think. Wow, the Zealot survives, but we have 2 Colossus on the way now. Double robotics facility has been built by Hero with the support bay. He is absolutely preparing to have a lot more AoE than he did before. High Templar in production, they are just being used for those storms. His +2 armor has finished for these charge lots, so now the attack upgrades will begin. And I mean, Hero's gonna have +1 attack as the Colossus finish. As the Colossus finish, he's going to have +1 attack, and that's just so big. I mean, Disruptor's also out. Hero building an imposing army, and the last time that they faced off that I cast in that Super Series, Hero did not go for this kind of game. Hero did not go for this macro game, you know, where it's like, oh, sure, your opening is a little bit cheesy, but you transition it well. He did not do that, but look how well he is managing it. But mines have been set up. This Colossus will be dived on top of, but for Byun, this is a little bit of a, you know, a suicide mission for these units. I don't think you're gonna, do you have enough medevac space to get all of them out? We'll have to see. There we go, the pickup comes through, but you're flying right over the Archons. Colossus just pulls back. Disruptor shots have been used, but I think Hero can still fight this. There's so much shields left on the Archons. And yeah, Hero able to clean it up. Byun tries to commit in, tries to find damage. It just does not work out. And it's going to get chased down. Warpins will come through. Second Colossus joining the fight. Hero, what a game from him. Third Colossus gonna join up. That one gets a bit low. Does not matter. GG. Food for thought. It's not gonna be a proxy this game, but the last time that Hero did play on Curious Minds in TSL 8 versus Clem, he did go for the proxy Stargate. Now, of course, that's not gonna happen this game, but it might happen in a game. There's a possibility as, ooh, Hero gets the probe out. It survives Probius to live again. That was a good move. That was a good move. But yeah, again, as this is done live, if there are sound issues, if things can be fixed, please do let me know. I'm trying to do all this with very limited information early in the morning. But Adept is now going to poke on out. See what it can see. CC, of course, will be finishing up. It is the Concussive Shell Marauder opening from Byun into the 3 racks. So, an interesting opening that we've seen, I mean, we've seen it quite often, is that instead of actually going for a factory instead of anything like that, what you do is you say, hey, listen, concussive shell marauders are really good against stalkers. What's the thing that kills you the most in the early game? You know, in TVP? Oh wow, it's stalkers. So guess what? You build concussive shell marauders, you go into your 3 racks opening, you still get your stim combat shields, but you just have the additional added power of that concussive shell, of that slow. And so that's what we're going to be seeing out here from Byun. Now, Hero does manage to scout it, pushes in there with 2 adepts, loses 1, but gets the information that that upgrade is finished, and that marauders have been produced, which is already a fairly important information to have. And we are seeing that Byun is going the variation of this, where it is just kind of straight marines off of it. So only the 2 marauders. It's then just going to be reactors on the other 2 barracks into marines. So it's going to be stim and +1 instead of stim and combat shields. Just relying again on that additional damage. Oh no, the adept gets in. Byun! This is not supposed to happen. Immediately 1 SCV is going to go down. Looking for the surround. Not able to get it. Hero echoing this very, very well, but the adept should finally fall. Still, finds 2 workers. Gets the information that it is going to be the +1 timing attack. That's all the information that, Hero really needs. Twilight Council Forge popped down. Is not going to be looking for a super aggressive 3rd base. Is just going to be preparing, for that 5-minute move out. 5:30, perhaps, with the +1 just being a little bit delayed. There we go. Byun out on the map. And I don't think this should get a ton of damage done. It has definitely still a possibility. Oh. That's mean. That is mean. 2 oracles go in. They kill the add-on. There's even a 3rd oracle that's been produced. Of course, Hero loves his Stargate openings, so I'm not surprised they did go Stargate. Oh, loses 1 though. That's a bit of a misstep. Even for clearing up the Marines. Not exactly what you want, but Hero should have to get on out of there. Went for the 3 oracles. The attack can't go through. There's enough to defend at home, and well, Hero, a complete win in this early game so far. Just now, kind of utterly in control of this game. Hero can take his 3rd. Hero still has the oracles to be annoying. Which, oh, there we go. We'll manage to get another snipe on more SCVs. Can't get the one building the factory again for that cancel, but already you're looking at quite that resource loss deficit. And again, as I said, Hero loves Stargate openings. I didn't get to really talk about it last game. It was just kind of an off comment, but Hero will go Stargate most games, and it's actually the tech that he looks the most comfortable with is the Stargate tech. And he's very, very good with controlling his oracles. He's very, very good with controlling Phoenix especially. But he's also, somehow, I think Hero is best when he's transitioning out of it. It looks the cleanest when he is transitioning out of Stargate play. That does mean that sometimes he can be, a bit, he can kind of transmit his play a little bit much, and it can be a bit predictable, but sometimes it just doesn't matter. He's just that good with it, as this army is going to get chased down, unfortunately, for Byun. You're out on the map, and charge is done. No medevacs. That is not boding well for you. Hero, again, just flexing the fact that he has more stuff. He has map control. Byun is not going to be allowed to push out anytime soon. Byun is not going to be allowed to, try and harass, because Hero will just have more. He's up to 3 Nexus. And he's going to have his 3rd base for a solid minute and a half before Byun really has his. And that's if Byun is even allowed to get his up. Byun's working at 22 army supply. Hero has 50 with these charge lots and stalkers. That's Byun's whole army right there. That's it. What you're seeing on the screen, that is not a lot to be working with as Byun. And obviously he'll be producing more, has the factory coming up, so he can start producing Widow Mines out of that. But even then, Hero in such a good spot. And honestly, this is like the cleanest early games that I have seen from Hero in a while. Back when I cast Hero at the beginning of the month with the Super Series even, Hero's early game and opening build orders, they were clean, but whenever he wanted to be aggressive, whenever he wanted to try and get damage done, they just weren't solid. They weren't super solid. They didn't look extremely good, but these 2 games have looked so nice from Hero, just with the openings, finding a little bit of damage, knowing when to pull back. And then using his openings to their best. Ooh, I do like Byun here finding this little spot to stim on in. He's going to go into the natural instead of the main because he knows that there are units there. The support bay will just get sniped down. Oh, shield battery overcharge is not, I don't think, quite good enough. Stim is a very, very good spell as well. I mean, it's a very good drug, but it is a spell in game technically, fun fact. But support bay goes down, you're not going to have Colossus range, which is actually big because Hero was going into that doubled robotics facility Colossus production, where again, you're going to get up to 3 Colossus, then you're going to change into your disruptors. Or in this case, actually, it's going to be Immortals, which of course have a bit more fighting power. But once they are alone, much less useful against, of course, the Marine Ghost, which is going to be a majority of the composition for Byun. But +2 armor, +1 attack on the way. Byun's going to stim back on in. Well, should be able to snipe that gateway. Not really anything there to stop him. And Byun just trying to find damage here and there. And this is what Byun is so good at, is just finding damage. As the Oracles are actually going to come in on here. One is going to die. Stalkers, do they have a blink? They do. There we go. Good target fire. He's going to be able to snipe both of the medevacs. Hero handles that so well. And of course, losing the support bay does suck. That is not really what Hero wants, but even with that, you're going to have your upgrades coming through. You have your Colossus done. You now have Immortals for that tankiness, for that kind of backbone to this army. 2 more Colossus on the way. I mean, can be on hold. I don't know. It's a 30 supply difference right here. Good EMPs, though. Liberator's now out. Ghost still with energy. There we go. EMPs onto the epicenter of the army. No shields left here for Hero, but can he still push it, honestly? 105 army supply to 80. This 20 army supply difference that is between these players. Their worker counts are exactly the same. Colossus picked up. Great denial there by Hero. Once again, Stim comes through. Juggle onto the Immortal. But I don't think Hero can push it. I mean, 4 Colossus are joining in now, so that's a bit more dangerous. +1, 4 Colossus definitely has a bit of punching power. And now Disruptor production has begun as well. Liberator is trying to reposition. There are 4 of them out, which is a decent number, but they're not spread as well as you would like to help defend this 3rd base. As Hero, he might just commit on in. Stalker's going to focus fire down on the Liberators, and then they can blink on out. There we go. Damage was found. Hero gets rid of that zoning tool for Byun. And now it's just this bio, but there's 4 Colossus out. You can't really fight. Oh, Disruptor shot dodged very, very well. Great splits from Byun, but he's going to lose so many workers. All the workers are dead. The Disruptor shot bought so much time. Hero takes game number 2, and he has been showing some incredibly solid play. We are going to be seeing, of course, that factory first before Hero expansion. Nothing kind of new here. This is the standard Terran opening. Now, on a map like Pride of Altaris, I think you could probably be a bit more lenient and go for that CC after Reaper, but Byun still opting for the safer build in case Hero does cheese, which, I mean, there's a decent likelihood of. We don't see a probe out on the map just yet, so it doesn't appear as though that's going to be the case, but it's still fine to be safe because Hero is a player who will absolutely cheese. And I will go get a tissue after this. I do apologize that I am all sniffly. Early mornings, man, they do it to you. They do it to you. And there we go. Factory is down. And we're just going to see standard macro openings from both these players on Pride of Altaris, which I think is to be expected. This map is very, very large. It's big. It is big. And so that means that really any cheese or rush that you try to do is just going to be severely weakened because of the time that it takes for you to get across the map. That's just how it is. And that's going to be the case. So going for any rushes really doesn't feel good on this map, just because of how big it is. And so we're just going to see both players scout out, go into a completely standard macro game. It is going to be an early Twilight Council, though, from Hero. So no Stargate, which is a bit surprising, because this is the map where I've actually seen him go Stargate the most with like his Phoenix Colossus play, and it's worked quite well. All right. I found tissues. I'll be right back. All right, Reapers, Hellions going on in. Trying to see if they can find any damage. Focus fire onto the weakened probes. Should be able to find one more. There we go. The 3 end up going down. Not, I think, the best trade. I think Byun was probably going to be trying to look for more, but still finds decent value. Again, apologies there that I had to blow my nose. And, of course, that does mean that the stream lagged a little bit, because I have frame drops when I alt-tab. Feels bad. The life of the one monitor, man. It's rough. Proxy pylon. What is your plan, Hero? How many Blink Stalkers are you preparing to build? That's the real question. This bunker should go up, and as soon as it goes up, Byun should be able to kind of ferry his Marines over there with the medevac. SCVs do have to be pulled, though. It's a decent Stalker count. Oh, and a good trap there. And now let's see the Marines get onto the bunker. Blink is almost done, though. And it looks like right now, we're just looking at 2 gateways that have been built for Hero. This isn't an incredible committal to the Stalkers. 3rd and 4th are being added on, but they're actually very late. Those gateways should have been done by now, which is a bit worrying. It's a little bit worrying. As there you go, Blink in already loses 1 Stalker per second, will go down. You can of course one-shot Marines with this amount of Stalkers. Oh, Byun did not lift up the supply depot, so didn't get the trap. That's great focus fire here from Hero. Gets 5 workers, gets the pick on the medevac, gets the Marines. And even though he's only working with 2 gates, actually, I think has made this work better than some of the times I've seen him go like 5 gate Blink Stalker or 4 gate Blink Stalker. He's actually gotten more damage done with this. And I just think it's because Byun was not expecting it. Byun pushed in with the Reaper, 2 Reapers Hellion, and didn't really find enough damage with it to lose them, and those were his early game units. You know, he delayed his tank, he delayed Marines for that, and he delayed his starport. And so Hero just pushes across the map with those 3 Stalkers, has the Warpins, and Hero's able to really make, I mean, a miracle out of it there with just the 2 gateways. But now it's 4 gate, so now it's going to be even more dangerous. I mean, the follow-up is going to be even stronger. Is the tank in position? No, it's not sieged just yet, so the bunker will go down. You don't want to commit any further in. That is plenty of damage for Hero. Now you just snipe the supply depots, and this is absolutely how you want to handle this with the Blink Stalkers. Never blink on in until you think you have a critical mass, but you just might. There we go. Hero's going to blink on in. Tanks are going to go down. There is plenty of units here. Great juggles back. And I mean, this has been Hero's weakness, but he's gone for these aggressive builds in the past. He's just overcommitted with them, but that's not the case now. Handling this so well. Warp Prism being used for vision. Again, just trying to snipe whatever he can, and oh, there we go. Another blink forward, gets the tank, and honestly, at this point, just focus fire onto the Marines, onto the SCVs. It does not matter. Juggle back. Hero has found plenty of damage, even if he doesn't win the game, but he just wants to win it anyway. Blink forward. Hero's up 3-0. Okay. It looks like, ladies and gentlemen, there is actually going to be no cheese. My suspicions were completely unfounded. Very unfortunately. And both these players are just going for very early harassment. I am deeply saddened by this turn of events. And I hope you can all forgive me for getting your hopes up too high. But we do have the NG Bay block coming out. Of course, on Hardwire, it is a map that you can do this on. It's just nice. You're not going to be wasting too much money. You're not going to be delaying yourself altogether that much. And what it gets you is enough damage to the Protoss economy with them having to take their natural base in their third, that altogether it is worthwhile. Altogether, it does more damage to the Protoss than you take having 125 minerals sitting out there at the natural. Oh, it's a proxy pylon. I was right. I knew it. My spidey senses were tingling. All 3 of them. All 4, 5. Oh, it's a proxy Stargate. Let's go. It's not going to be Void Race, but it is going to be proxy Oracle, so we're getting a bit of spice, which is absolutely what we want. We want a bit of spice in this game. You don't want it just to be kind of completely standard and boring. No. We want to see exciting things. That's what Byun and Hero are good at, is exciting games. Unfortunately for Byun, he was about like a millisecond away from scouting that probe on its way back to the Hero's base. Which would have been a pretty good giveaway of the fact that this is going to be the proxy Oracle. But without that, Byun still completely in the unknown. We'll be producing Widow Mines. And Byun does do a good job of using those Widow Mines and placing them in his mineral line. So hopefully he will do that with these before he goes for the Widow Mine drop. Is this Reaper? Unfortunately, his life is forfeit. The Kala has claimed another. And unfortunately, the Dominion, well, they don't really care about the Reaper program. You know, they're kind of expendable. Just a little bit. Just a little bit is... Where is that Widow Mine? Well, it's not in the mineral line, which is where you want it, but it is going to be a Viking first, actually. It's not even a Widow Mine drop here from Byun. This is just a completely safe opening. Widow Mine into Cyclone Viking. 100% safety from a regular Stargate opening. Now, the Viking will be out in time for the second Oracle, but the Cyclone will not be. And I think Hero still going to try and commit on in as the Viking is out. Nah, it's a bit too risky. Oh my god, but the Adepts get in. That is massive. What? 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 Since when? Since when do you not commit on in for that? That is baffling. That was 3 Adepts that could have gone straight into the mineral line. Hero decides not to go for it. I guess he thought that, you know, Byun had units in position, but still doesn't commit in. Does manage to pull back the units there and save the Adepts, but could have gone so much damage done. Now it's going to be 3 Oracles. Trying to move on in, but that's 2 Vikings, man. That is a whole lot of air defense. Oh, that's not the shade to complete. There were 2 good options before this. Hero took neither of them. He actually created a third worse option for that shade in. And of course I am being, you know, sarcastically flaming Hero here because of course he's been playing pretty impeccably up to this point, hence the 3-0 scoreline. But you gotta find a fault in his play somehow, you know? You gotta. So we're gonna be seeing once again another push in here. Pick up onto the Cyclone as we are gonna see the Oracles start to just hit away. There we go, Cyclone is going to go down, but the Oracles will also fall at a similar speed to the Vikings. Already those 6 SCVs should be able to get 7. And an 8th as well. I don't know if that's the most worthwhile, though. I mean, sure, you kill 8 SCVs, but you lose all 3 of your Oracles. You're not on a third base just yet if you're Hero. That's a hard one to call for the value. That is a very hard one to call. And that's one where really I think just depends on how the players feel about their position, because right now Byun is looking for a bit of a move out here. 15 Marines, Cyclone, tank, 2 Vikings. You know, he's got an army that does a lot of damage if he actually moves out with it. Looks like he doesn't want to. Doesn't know it, but the gateway timing is coming through for Hero just when he would need them for his Blink Stalker defense. Again, as I said, Hero's been playing super well with his timings. In this series especially, if you're looking at it, Hero has been hitting every single timing that you need to as the Protoss to be prepared for a timing attack. So what are the main ones? Well, if you scout it, of course, 5 minutes for the 3 racks. 6:45 for a the kind of the 2-1-1. or the 3 racks factory kind of, you know, after a Widowmine drop. As, oh, I love this Viking harassment. Oh my, that's getting so much damage. Oh, that's getting so much damage. Byun! What? Oh my. No, this is not allowed. That's 13 probes? What? That should not deal that much damage, but Hero just had nothing at home, did not have Warpids for Stalkers. And Byun finds incredible amounts of damage. We'll manage to be able to find that Cyclone. And the third base, of course, is finished here for Hero, but now you're looking at the push out. And as I was talking about the timing, so yeah, you know, 6:45, 7:30. And also, of course, you do have 8 minutes as, oh my, Hero, what? I still can't get over how the last game ended. That was... So for reference, oh my. Never mind. For reference, Byun is proxying a barracks. But that attack that Hero was going for should have hit about a minute or, yeah, about a minute and a half earlier than it did end up blinking into the main. And so Byun actually had enough to both chase it down outside and then also fight it inside his base because Byun was going for a 2-base timing attack. You know, Hero was just kind of out of position with his units, and Byun played it very, very well, recognizing that, taking advantage of it. And now, to start off this game, Byun, being a little bit cheeky, is going to be getting out this early Reaper. And guess what? There's no... Oh. Hero thinks it's a fake. Hero thinks that Byun is just trying to play tricks on him, but that's not the case. Byun doesn't play tricks. Byun only plays perfection, as this SCV is actually getting quite low. SCV gets sniped. Good pull there from Hero, but now we're going to see the Reaper micro, and this is where, of course, Byun should start to shine. Already going to be able to snipe the first probe. Adept is chrono boosted out. Still, though, not going to be finished for a little while here. Great probe micro from Hero, but it's not going to matter. There we go. Byun tries to dive on in. Good surround by the probes. Hero manages to only lose 2, which is actually really, really solid considering how close this proxy is. As in, it's so close that Hero literally walks over and sees the barracks. Still only lost 2 workers, some really, really good probe micro. And now, Hero is building a pylon across the map. Oh, yes. Proxy Stargate once again. Oracles be damned. Actually, no, it's going to be Oracles. Yeah, I was going to say. Void Rays be damned. It's going to be Oracles once again. I don't think Hero's going to commit to any sort of a shield battery proxy. But it's going to be proxy Oracles, and this is actually a great response. So if you survive, you know, something like a proxy barracks, you know that your opponent is not going to be having Marines at home. They're going to be relying completely on tech units, such as Widowmines, such as Cyclones, Vikings. And so the proxy Oracle can actually get you a lot of damage. This Reaper finds his way back in. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to find... Oh, actually gets 2. I wish we got a shot of it. I should have blown over. I was thinking there's no way he gets damage, right? But still manages to find 2 worker kills. Nah, not going to be able to get on out. Reaper does end up falling, but hey, fairly worthwhile. And we are going to see the Widowmines into the mineral line. So if Hero does actually commit on in with these Oracles, can be quite dangerous. Because that is double Widowmine production from Byun for the defense. No medevac. He's not going for a Widowmine drop, no. Just Widowmines for defense. That's the Chad move. Why rely on control when you have Widowmines? As Hero gonna look to get on in and is immediately gonna see, oh wow, that's a lot of Widowmines that you have there. And Byun says, yes. And my Viking is quite big as well. And he has to get on out. And in the end, that proxy actually doesn't get a lot done. Just a very, very solid response from Byun to make sure that he has all the defenses he needs. You know, I personally still think you could probably go for Kubi. I need to breathe. Personally, I think you could probably still go for a Widowmine drop if you do end up building, you know, medevac. But that all comes down to personal preference. And of course, Byun can also just use them for his army, for his push-out. Now, I do love this Stasis Ward. We gotta zoom in on it. This Stasis Ward is great, because guess what? Stasis Wards are cloaked. So Byun's gonna try and land his CC. He's gonna say, what is stopping my command center from landing? And he's not going to really know. And if you push down with the Marines, guess what? They're just going to trigger it. Okay, it looks like Byun knows. Never mind. Byun's completely aware of what's going on. It's just going to trigger it from the outside so that, yeah, his command center can still land. Never mind. It's a cool trick. Byun completely reads it. There's only one thing that can actually stop that CC from landing. Reasonably, it would either be a Dark Templar or a Stasis Ward. And, well, one is more likely than the other, as we are getting Phoenix production from Hero. So he is going to be going to Stargate Tech still. Going to be keeping that up. And again, I like Hero's Phoenix play. I think he looks the best when he's using Phoenix. Now, there are 3 Vikings out. So it's going to be a little bit harder to really find value with them, but you can still, of course, pick up siege tanks when you're committing on in. Even if the Phoenix end up dying, getting rid of that damage from the Terran can end up being very, very useful. Can end up being very valuable. And so, you know, the Phoenix can oftentimes get quite a lot of worth in that sense, while your ground army commits in to try and clean up the bio. Phoenix, not exactly where I think you want to commit on in. A Phoenix for a Viking, not exactly a worthwhile trade. Even loses another one to that Widow Mine. You're still trying to find value there. Gets another Viking, doesn't lose a Phoenix. And the reason why a Phoenix for a Viking isn't worthwhile is just the money. 150 minerals, 75 gas. The Viking cost 150, 100 is the cost of a Phoenix. And the build time, of course, is just much faster for the Phoenix. So you use up those minerals quicker when you are going Phoenix play. So losing those, you know, losing that, not really worthwhile. Another one's gonna go down. You want to keep these Phoenix alive. You really do. They are quite worthwhile. And the thing about keeping them alive is that when you get to critical mass, you can kind of just stop. And so you don't need to keep producing them. And it seems as though Hero is going to stop at 5, maybe go up to 7. Had 7 before, but again, with losing 3, you now have to rebuild them. That's more money that you have to use, where you're not, you know, exactly transitioning into Colossus, where you're not getting out a large charge lot count, where you're not getting your upgrades up. And so we see it is Hero here just cutting that charge lot count. Is just going for the +1 armor, more Phoenix, getting immortals, and trying to warp in charge lots as soon as he has the money for it, alongside his probe production on this 3 Nexus economy, you know, at 63 workers, which is, I mean, a decent lead right now for Hero. And what's the push out for Byun? What is it? Stim combat shields, concussive shells, done. He's gonna have +1. So you're gonna be looking at kind of this, I guess, this kind of pseudo 830 timing, which is kind of a bit off kilter. But even then, I mean, Hero's gonna have Blink, Hero's gonna have +1 armor, he's gonna have Archons by the time that you end up pushing out. I'm not sure for Byun. I am not sure. The 3rd CC has started, and it will be, you know, finished around the 9-15 minute mark, but that is pretty late. That is, quite honestly, fairly late to have your command center finished. Just a single zealot will need to be brought over for that Marine. And Byun, oh, this is very, very dangerous. Yeah, Hero's gonna look for the wraparound. Byun, this might be a little bit too aggressive if Hero decides to commit for it, but gonna do 2-pronged attack. 2 attacks at once, drop on into the main while also trying to fight the force out there. Manages to get a good chunk of it. Byun has to lift off. Has to pull everything from the main. Why are there so many Widow Mines? There are so many Widow Mines. That is a shocking amount. That's a very, very good recall. A few Zealots will be sacrificed, but overall, I mean, just value there for Hero. Gets unit kills, gets a few worker kills, stops Byun from pushing out, and really stops any harassment from going across the map. That is a shocking amount of Widow Mines. That's 13. And of course, I mean, the Widow Mines are going to be very useful for dealing with the charge lots. But you have Hero going into, again, double Colossus production. That's his transition that he really is liking right now. As, oh, a force field's beautifully done. The evac will manage to get a few units, but he's still going to lose a Marauder there. The Raider production has begun for Byun. More Marauders, but the Colossus are going to be out. They're going to have +2 armor when this attack hits. Ooh, Colossus do show themselves. 4th base is being warped in with a cannon and shield battery there to support. Hero, though, doesn't have vision, so Byun can come in. He can snipe this. It's just going to look for the snipe onto the Colossus. Is not able to get it. The Sim City, very annoying to deal with, but there we go. That 4th should have been canceled. That should have been canceled for Hero. That is money that you really don't want to waste. Of course, you know, you do have, hey, you know, you're dropping into the main. There's a lot going on, but even then, losing that money straight up is not what you want. But Hero is going to be getting up to 4 Colossus. Is going to have a massive army beyond. Okay, okay. We're not going into the main. We are not doing that. We're simply just going to get on out. Evac. Get away. Nothing's wrong. Like a mission in XCOM 2. Which I'm so excited about. Just download it, man. $13 for the entirety of XCOM 2. I'm so excited to play it. Oh. Hero's looking for the push out, though. He has critical mass. He has the upgrades. Byun, this is half of his army out of position, but still has a very, very good... I mean, his army supply is very high. You just need it all together. Byun, can you fight together? The tanks are going to get dived on. But, oh, Byun, Marauder's trying to go forward onto the Colossus. It's not going to matter, though. There's so much for Hero. GG. Hero is going to take it 4-1, showing his absolute brilliance in TVP. It's a best of 9. I completely forgot because I'm so used to doing best of 7s. It's a best of 9, which means we get more games. We get more games. Yeah. I'm so ready. I don't know why it completely slipped my mind that it was a best of 9, but here we are. We're back onto Berlingrad because it was I believe, a 5-map rotation that we are working with. But in the top left-hand corner, he's on match point. One more win, and he will take this best of 9. Not the best of 7 like I've been displaying every game before this one. Definitely not. It's Hero. And in the bottom left, he's got to bring it back. The macro hasn't been working out. Maybe it's time for the micro to really show its teeth, bare its fangs. It's Byun. So yeah. Best of 9. Let's go. I still can't believe I forgot. Listen, man, I've been waking up at 9 a.m. I've been sleeping in. It's been great. It's been a wonderful time. Absolutely great. Now I have to wake up at 6:30. I chose to wake up at 6:30 though, because I love watching StarCraft too. Forward wall here for Hero on Berlingrad. You can do this. It's fine. It is a bit weak to proxy cheese. It is a bit weak to tank pushes. However, usually by the time those come out, you will have a 3rd base up. And so that's really not going to be an issue. Because it will be kind of the 3rd base that is the point of contention for those tank pushes. So I don't mind it on this map altogether, unless you're playing against someone like Maru. I don't think you should ever do a forward wall, because Maru will just 2-racks you and boom, game's over, you're dead. Because that's just how it works out. We saw what happened to Trap. We saw what happened to Trap. We all know that series. This Reaper just finds a single probe kill, and then will hop itself on out. Skadiddle and skedaddle as... Ooh, no, it doesn't find the probe. Sneaky, sneaky probe. Hero with his pathing has been kind of on point this series, actually. One thing that I have kind of been noticing, but haven't really been pointing out, Hero's pathing of his units, and of his workers especially, when like getting them back to base, when moving around the map. I think aside from that one game 4, where of course he was out of position, Hero's pathing has actually been pretty sublime and really good this series, where he's constantly moving units where he knows that there's no enemy, you know, where there's no vision. He's playing around that vision, and is making sure he's taking really solid engagements where his units are still getting value. And you saw, I mean, even in the last game where he did end up taking I think a subpar engagement where, you know, Byun actually did have us around. He just had enough at that point that taking the fight for Byun was not the best. Just the small things really for Hero have been looking really, really good, and that's why he's up 4-1. You know, in these longer series, you just need to be consistent. And Hero, I think in the past, when he first got back, and for a few months after that, a lot of people were saying, well, you know, Hero's good, but he's not really that consistent. He's not really putting up performances that, you know, that you would expect from him constantly. And that came to be kind of, and that was a bit of an issue for sure. I mean, when you're looking at any player, but it does feel like Hero, you know, has just kind of been sorting that out over time. You know, constantly getting better and better, constantly figuring out those consistency issues. And I really can't wait to see him in major tournaments, in premier tournaments. I can't wait to see how he continues to do, because of course in TSL 8 had a decent run. I mean, Byun also had a very, very good run. I don't think anyone really questions Byun's skill level. I think the only question that comes in is, oh, well, you know, can Byun kind of play better? Can he peak more than this? Because Byun's play is very consistent, and it is very high level, but I think Byun oftentimes is kind of held back sometimes, where he's not able to really step up to the level that he needs to start to win these tournaments. And I think he got into that form a little bit before TSL, but was not able to hold it into it. Because I did see his form into TSL, and it was quite good. Oh my. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Because it is 4-gate Blink Stalker from Hero. That is the build choice. But that, yeah, no, losing the War Prism, not good, and also this Blinken, not very good. Yeah, this is already going very, very badly, and now this Cyclone's getting so much damage. That's 6 worker kills for 1 Cyclone. That's 7. Oh, that's so worthwhile for Byun. Oh my. Yeah. So, again, now let's talk about rhetoricals now. Let's get into the game, because those were a few bad moves from Hero. I was talking about consistency. One thing that Hero, I think, has not really figured out just yet is Blink Stalkers. Because Hero has a really bad habit of blinking in all of his Stalkers and losing them all as this is stimmed Marines. It's 6:30 Hero. Why would he not have stim yet? As we're going to be seeing Byun get up his natural base at a decent time. Now, another thing interesting about kind of Byun's play is that Byun has been doing the same openings every game. And again, with Terran and TVP, it's actually kind of for the best that you just always kind of, there's a set amount of standard openings that are good. And so you can really only do those unless you're going to be cheesy. And those openings for Terran are, of course, you know, single gas, fast expand, CC before factory into something like a Widow Mine drop, double gas before expand into a factory before your CC, and then into your command center, into second barracks, into starport is kind of the most common one, however, that has started to find its way into the meta. And the reason is because with this build, you actually still get your command center at a decent time. It's not too much delayed. It's not delayed to the point where it's like game's over. Okay, you can't macro back from this. But it also gives you faster tanks. It gives you actually faster stim timings with your Marines. And it delays your starport a reasonable amount, because you don't actually need starport units super, super early. One of the weaknesses of going something like, you know, barracks, gas, CC factory, One of the biggest weaknesses of it is that you then have that starport, and then you need to get your transitions all kind of in order. And a lot of that is using your starport to build add-ons, actually, and your factory. And so the 2 racks, or even 3 racks before starport, fixes that issue by saying, listen, we don't actually need that starport until medevacs, especially if the Protoss is not being cheesy, especially if the Protoss is not being super aggressive, or even if Protoss actually is being super aggressive, it's often much better to have an earlier tank or cyclone than a starport. And so it's an opening that I really like, and that Byun has been doing every game, and I think it's shown great efficiency with it. Of course, we've kind of seen 2 variations where he'll go the fast factory into starport after CC, and then the barracks after CC. These are the kind of the 2 versions that Byun has been showing and flip-flopping between. And again, has been using them quite efficiently. Now, as for Hero, we're back to Phoenix play. Again, I'll say it every single time. I like Hero when he goes Phoenix. I think, again, it looks the best. Of course, you do try and mix up the build orders, but this is where he looks the strongest, is when he's going for Phoenix. And already has that transition ready with the 3rd CC, or with the 3rd Nexus, is getting, of course, into, or going to look to get into Colossus. There you go, Adepts to Phoenix can dive on in. Managed to find a few Marine kills, get on out. You don't really lose anything as Hero. Absolutely worthwhile to try and take those trades. Shade is canceled. And Byun right now, finally we'll have that starport finishing up, so it's going to be immediately, of course, onto a reactor, and you're going to be looking to push out with those 2 medevacs, I think. With the +1, with the stim, you're going to be looking for that timing. You have cyclones, you have a strong ground army if you are Byun, and you've gone for this 3-Rex build, so you're not getting an especially quick CC. You're not going to have an especially quick 3rd. That's just not kind of on the docket. You're looking to actually be aggressive and to get damage done, and then take your 3rd. Because the nice thing about Terran Macro is that you can afford that. You don't need to use your scans like in TVC to clean up creep, unless there's Dark Templar, but you're always going to be saving at least 1 scan until you get your missile turrets up, and then you can still use your mules. And so you can afford to go 3 racks and delay your 4th or your 3rd. It doesn't really hurt you altogether that much as long as you still get it up in a timely manner. So, that means, of course, we should be seeing it go up around 7 minutes or so is when Byun should build that 3rd command center. And it does look like he's going to wait for combat shields to finish before this push out, which is good. As the Hallucinating Phoenix does scout the medevacs, does see the army. Hero completely in the know as to what this is, and it's not actually the double robotics facility transition, because the double robotics facility transition has been coming off of more Phoenix builds. So right now we're only at 4. Not only more Phoenix build, but also a faster charge. This is actually the build that I first saw Hero do with the Phoenix opening, and it's the one that I like the most from him, where he gets the earlier Colossus with the 2 Immortals, and then uses these Phoenix just to get rid of the key tech units. As you see there, just harassing down a medevac, you can then bring them back, use them to lift off Cyclones. And so we should see, Hero just be able to dive on in. There we go, Cyclone's dead. Colossus is here. Byun can't really push the issue. Hero with this control right now has been, I think, almost impeccable. At least with the Phoenix. Again, I'm sorry for that, Jan. But with the Phoenix control especially, Hero has been really solid with just, again, poking a division with the Phoenix, seeing the army, keeping tabs on it, then immediately pulling away. Now we do have Byun trying to get this drop on into the main. And if he can manage to pull over more units than the Phoenix or a Warpin, this can actually be very good, because he has this attack going towards the 3rd, but you cannot push in while the Colossus and the full army is still here at the 3rd base. Widow Mines are, of course, annoying. There's no real observer to scout them out, so you're going to get value, but even then, Hero, look at that. 30 supply lead already. As the 3rd CC is finishing, Ghost Academy on the way, as the +1 armor should be finishing up right when that finishes. So 2-2 with Ghosts is going to be on the docket for Byun. And double forward for Hero. He's going to look to get into those really early upgrades. Really fast double upgrades as well. There was also a Void Ray produced, which, is a choice. I'm not sure exactly why. I imagine to try and tank Viking aggro, but even then, usually the Terran is going to focus fire those Vikings, so a bit strange. Perhaps just for defense. We'll see. As I believe Hero is pushing out here, but not with his whole army. There was still a Colossus at home and the Void Ray. So only 2 Colossus with this push. You're not going to be one-shotting Marines with those death swipes if you get all 3 of them into one spot. But even then, this army for Byun, it's not really that good at dealing with Colossus. It's great against dealing with the ground army, you know. Stalker, Sentry, Immortal, Zealot. Oh, Byun shreds that. But these Colossus are going to be a major issue for Byun. Needs to split up his army, needs to try and find a concave, find the EMPs, and just blow it up is pretty much the game plan here for Byun, is to try and just burst it down. And the issue is there's force fields. You need to get the energy off of them. There we go, first EMP goes out, doesn't hit. Second one does to find a decent connection as the Disruptor shot manages to get rid of the Ghost. Disruptor focus fired. Another Ghost going to be sacrificed. But you get rid of that really dangerous AoE, which is that Disruptor, which Byun does not have an answer for. You know, he's not going to be getting into Liberators really anytime soon because he needs the Vikings to deal with the Colossus. Seer's army is pushing around. Byun has to be careful. Man, oh, the great snipe there. Another kill onto a Disruptor. Byun, still though, he's not down in army supplies, the thing. He's down in workers, and that's honestly a position you're fine to be with as the Terran. As great EMP splits. Oh, still a decent shot from that Disruptor. He's not able to get focused down, but more Vikings are joining. More Disruptors are joining. These Vikings, they can start to pick away at these Colossus if Hero isn't careful. But still, the Disruptors are the main threat here, and Byun just does not have anything to deal with them. He is, relying solely on his splits as the Vikings try and push forward. Viking control to this point, it hasn't been altogether that good. You need to focus fire with them. You need to try and push forward as a clump. Byun just has not been able to do that. As Hero's still trying to push some great EMPs drop down. Whole army's out of shields. Byun, can you split up your bio? Yes, you can. It's still not the best split, though. There we go. Finally splitting up, but the Disruptor shots are super good. Another one going to come down. Byun, you just have to back on up. Can't risk that. And you're still playing from behind his blink forward. The focus down the Colossus here, I think, is the plan. Great EMPs onto the army. Pull back from the Disruptor shot. And he managed to kill off a Colossus, but that is it. Your Viking count is, significantly lowered. Byun, he's still not producing anything out of the factory. You know, he's still not getting factory units. There's still no Widow Mines. There's still nothing like that. Of course, Widow Mines aren't the most useful against the Disruptors, but they can help for when Hero decides to go on in. And behind this Hero, he's taking a 5th. Oh my, that Disruptor shot. Byun split one half, didn't split the other. And now Hero, I think he has critical mass. I think he has enough. He's almost maxed out to the 148 supply of Byun, who's on a 3rd base. Hero has been macroing so well this entire series, and he's going to look to end it here. Gets 11 workers with that Disruptor shot, backs on up. And it's just a losing dance for Byun. As long as he's not able to commit in, Hero will always win these trades with the AoE that he has. Unless there's some magic in the hat for Byun. I don't see this working. That 4th CC is on the way, but Hero's already at 74 workers and 5 Nexus. Hero's already working on his +2. Byun does not have that luxury. Colossus does get quite low. And once the Colossus are dead, this does become a lot easier for Byun. But again, the Vikings aren't being pushed forward to help. The Medivacs are almost out of energy. Okay, I was going to say, please tell me this is just for a surround, and it is. Byun, he's going to look for a 360 surround. He knows that he needs to find something here. And this might be the call. Byun, though, he's just walking it forward. One half split from the other. He doesn't control it well. The splits are good, but they're not good enough. I think this is it. Hero, he's just going to push it down. The Colossus are falling, but it is 197 supply to 100. More Warpin's going to come through. Hero has enough. GG, Hero is going to take the final game and close out the series on Glittering Ashes.